So for 2025, the big number one topic that you highlighted, Sadie, before we started recording, and I agree with 100%, is agentic AI. There's no question. I could speak for a long time about this, but you're the guest, so I'm going to just let you go first, please.
Yes, I mean, this has started in the what I call the fall conference season to boil up as a key topic. I think it's going to take over all conferences will be about agentic AI next year. But more importantly, the number of startups in this space, I think there's over 600 as of today, and who knows if that's even an accurate count of it. But it's really the next step of what I think all of us as consumers are also looking for is we're looking for more of those autonomous agents where we don't want to be copy and pasting from different applications. We want it to just go on our behalf. And I think I don't know if it was a meme or an actual article from this year where it was a woman who said, we got AI and it creates things, but I was hoping it would like fold my laundry or do kind of basic tasks, right? And that to me is really where the need for agentic AI comes in. That's more of a robotic task is folding your laundry, but particularly we wanted to now, what I would say is leave the confines of an application and go do actual tasks for us autonomously on our behalf. I think that the trust in AI has built that we as humans are ready to maybe unleash it to that next step. We see a little bit of that with like computer use, but more importantly, I think we're going to see a lot of companies who, just like Waymo, are building a specialized brain for a particular application. One that will be the best ever social media marketer, one that will be the best financial analyst. And so we'll have these specialized models who will be able to truly be agents on our behalf and take autonomous steps.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely transformative. I think to go into a bit more detail on that viral post that you were mentioning there, I think it kind of tied into the woman who wrote that post saying, I wanted automation to be taking away the mundane tasks from me, like you said, folding laundry, and leaving the creative tasks like,
Mhm.
video production, artistic endeavors to me. But instead, AI's taken that away and I'm left folding the laundry. Yeah, and so, but agentic AI systems are a step on the way to having, even in the real world, more Waymo-like physical embodiments making changes and being able to fold your laundry for you. That is coming, and it seems like now in our lifetimes for sure that we will have machines that can do this kind of stuff, and hopefully, most people, if not everyone, will be able to afford machines like that. These should be widely available, not something that's just for some small percentage of the planet. Um, and I recently came back at the time of recording. I've just come back from NeurIPS, Neural Information Processing Systems. This is the 38th year it's been running, and it's I think safe to say the most prestigious AI conference for academics that is out there. And at this conference, the agentic AI uh, trainings, workshops, some of them were there was so much interest in them that there was a crowd of people outside the room unable to squeeze into the standing room. And so that gives you a sense of how popular this topic is. Fei Li gave one of the keynotes at NeurIPS this year, and she talked a lot about how her company, World Labs, is creating sophisticated data sets that will allow agents to explore 3D visual worlds as opposed to just being, right now, visual agents are becoming pretty good at recognizing, two-dimensional images, but that doesn't necessarily make them great at exploring the real world and being able to fold your laundry. So, yeah, really exciting things happening in agentic AI. I am completely smitten with agentic AI, and we've been doing podcast episodes on it a fair bit recently. We have many more planned for 2025, early 2025, with agentic AI experts. So look out for those. Um, I'm going to be creating a half day or full day agentic AI hands-on training for ODSC East, Open Data Science Conference East in Boston this spring. Yeah, I think it's a fast moving space, but it's also it's unquestionably where these things are moving, and it's a testament to how far along we've come with LLMs and their ability to be accurate. Because if you're
Mhm.
going to have AI agents going off and doing tasks autonomously that you have assigned them, or having an AI agent kind of master that's spinning up a bunch of slaves, that's a really like rough word to be using. There's got to be a better one, but in computer science, that is often the word that's used. But sub processes, sub agents,
Yes.
sub wow agents,
So,
and
wow, there we go.
in order for any of that to work effectively, you need to have accuracy. You need to, if your LLM is hallucinating 10% of the time, that's an extremely large amount
Mhm.
if you're going to have a large number of processes running. But if you get to a 1% or a fraction of 1% error rate, and with things like O1 from OpenAI being able to check their work step by step, those kinds of these this evolution in LLMs, the way that they've advanced, it allows us now to be in this agentic AI moment that we're in.
I'll just add one bit of caution on this one where I can see it not manifesting in the way that we may hope for and fully imagine, which is I think we have a lot to figure out in permissions and access. And so just because your agent can go and do something and is accurate, we switch quite frequently between applications on our computer, and giving it that automatic permission may not so much be a issue from a human perspective, but companies playing nicely with each other. And so I think that will be really interesting to figure out is okay, will, Apple give Microsoft access? They've done it with having Outlook as one of your mail applications, but how does that look like once different agents are released into that platform? So I'm curious to see how that will all work out this next year.
Nicely said. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the wall that we run into with LLMs or agentic AI frameworks. Being able to be effective is around data security, privacy. It would be ideal to be able to take a whole giant enterprise and say, okay, agentic AI system, here's all the information. But of course, if you do that, then you're opening it up to abuse. I mean, because then all of a sudden, someone in the software engineering department can write an agent that's like, provide me with the pay packages of everyone in the company.
Exactly. Right. Or who's not to say some other agent can't come in and fool your current agent to think that they're a helper. I mean, there's so many ways that this could go wrong. But I think the difficulty of this task that we're facing right now is really on the security and privacy side of things.
Nice. All right. So that's number one. Agentic AI is our big prediction for 2025. I feel very safe in this prediction. Seems like a layup. Number two from you is AI integration into everyday devices. So this is it. This is a higher risk one from you, I guess, similar to your LLMOS prediction for 2024. But yeah, tell us about your idea here with these everyday devices. Give us some examples.
Yes, I think this is a play off of the LLM operating system and maybe more of a stepping stone to get there. But where I'm seeing this go is recently I got the Meta glasses, and I particularly just like buying different tools and applications just to test things out and was really impressed with them overall. I'm going to Mexico next week and I really want to test out the real time translation. So I think that we're going to start to see AI just streamline into more and more of our devices. We talked about our disappointment with Apple Intelligence, but again, I think that they have so much cash flow, they have access to so much talent. We could see them make a comeback next year. And then Microsoft this year released what they had called their AI computer. I know they took it off the market for a little bit because people were concerned about the privacy of it, but it was essentially taking snapshots of your screen throughout your workday and giving you recommendations and starting to train how it can be its own assistant with you. Again, back to the privacy and security concerns, they took it off, but I think next year we'll have something figured out where we'll see AI woven more seamlessly into everyday devices more than we have today. On the last one there, I will say, I do think some will not always be smart weaving into products. When I went to Costco this year and saw AI on a toothbrush, an electric toothbrush, that's how you knew it has gone too far. So I didn't say it will all be positive, but we will see it continue to pop up in our everyday devices.
Yeah, where I was staying in Vancouver, I would walk from the Airbnb that I was in Kitsilano, beautiful area of Vancouver. I'd walk from my Airbnb to F45, which I'd never done before. Have you ever worked out with F45? You
No,
ever
but
done that?
I've walked by one, but I've never walked in one.
That was pretty cool. It was like, Sadie and I both do CrossFit, and they don't have barbells. You don't spend a lot of time on technique. But in 45 minutes, you do get a good mix of cardio and strength work. Um, you know, uh, it was an interesting experience for a week. But anyway, when I was walking in between my Airbnb and F45, every day I would walk past this golf pro shop, and
Mm.
all of the posters in this golf pro shop were for drivers that had AI in the name. So things like AI smoke. And there isn't like an
Wait, golf drivers with AI in them.
I don't think I honestly I didn't look into this. My assumption was that there isn't AI in the club. I don't understand how that could be, but my assumption is that somehow AI is involved in the design of the club in some way. That's got to be it.
Or maybe there's some tracking on it that there's an app that you upload the data
Maybe.
of how you
Maybe that is what it
swung and what
is.
I don't know. I'm not too into as listeners can hear, neither of us sound like we're that into golf to help us out here. So,
No, I'm so
some of the
bad.
audience will have to give us some help on this one.
Yeah, please tell us, comment on social media and let us know whether there's computer chips in golf clubs now. It would not be shocking if they were. Like you say, they're in toothbrushes. They will be increasingly around.
It will
All
be
right,
in
so
your brain soon.
well, yeah, that is happening more too. So agentic AI number one, AI integration into everyday devices number two. Number three, I love this one. You see AI driven scientific research and innovation becoming a much bigger thing. I absolutely agree. I'm going to quickly preempt what you're going to say with a couple of recent episodes that I released on this topic. So, number 812 was on this Japanese company that's full of Google DeepMind alums called Sakana, Sakana. They released this AI scientist paper that was able to draft papers specifically on machine learning at that time, and they were planning on spreading to other industries as well. But being able to write papers, come up with ideas for papers, and uh, run the experiments, get the results, write up the results independently, and did a pretty good job. And this kind of thing will only get better, especially in that kind of environment where the AI system can actually be doing experiments. And I think we will see more. I don't know if we'll see big examples of this prominently in 2025, but it is definitely the future that big pharmaceutical companies or big energy companies they will allow AI systems to run physical labs. And so this for episode 812 for this AI scientist, the reason why they stuck with machine learning problems is because these experiments could be run in silico. They could be run
Mm.
on compute hardware. But in the not too distant future, as I'm sure you're about to say, Sadie, these AI systems will control physical labs that can also do physical experiments. And so science, will accelerate because of that. The machines don't need to sleep. And as talked about in episode number 835 with U.com's co-founder, CTO, Brian McCann, Brian talked a lot in the episode about how scientific discovery will be, AI systems will be able to do kinds of scientific discoveries that a human never could because AI systems are trained on all knowledge and
Yes.
no human scientists are expert across all domains. Anyway, I've kind of, hopefully, I didn't take too much air out of your AI scientist balloon, Sadie.
No, I think it just shows how much excitement we both have for this area. And we saw just the beginning of this where I think it was Time Magazine shared an article about how ChatGPT was better than doctors in diagnosis, right? And just to your exact point with scientific discovery, we have AI models that consume so much more information than we ever could. And being a doctor, yes, you go to lengthy years of medical school, but keeping up with all of the new drug discoveries, all of the new scientific discoveries, there's just not enough time. And so I'm really excited for this just from a medical side in terms of not only new drug developments and new diagnosis, but that support for doctors in the healthcare system. And then just in terms of the new inventions of what haven't even been created. And so there was a paper that came out this fall from MIT. It's about artificial intelligence, scientific discovery, and product innovation. And what they found was that AI assisted researchers achieved 44% new material discoveries, 39% more patents, and had a 70% raise in new product prototypes. So, just like really, truly incredible results. And I think this adds to this utopia future that I know you often talk about, and I hope to actively build with AI, particularly in the realm of science, medicine, and innovation.
Yeah, but speaking of the dystopian aspects of these kinds of things, I think that same study showed that use of tools like ChatGPT to accelerate research led to job dissatisfaction increases as well for these scientists.
Yeah, okay, so this is so fascinating to me because the job satisfaction definitely depends on the job type. When looking at knowledge workers, so there were two studies, one from Slack and then one from Microsoft. Knowledge workers love using AI for their day to day jobs, whereas scientists and what I would say is more specialized individuals feel that it's taking away the joy of what they were doing. And I find this so fascinating because my hypothesis is that as a scientist or as a doctor, you spend many years going to school to have a particular knowledge, and then you feel like you're being replaced. Whereas my hypothesis for knowledge workers is you're just trying to get a job. Maybe it's not what you majored in. You don't really like your boss. You're just trying to get by. If AI will come in and do part of that job for you, then the happier you are. And so to me, that's my hypothesis behind it. But if someone does a study, please let me know if you test this hypothesis.
That sounds reasonable to me there. All right, so we've done 3 of our 5 predictions for 2025. Agentic AI, AI integration to everyday devices. Number 3 just now was AI-driven scientific research. Number 4 is enterprise AI monetization. Sadie, tell us about that one.
Yeah, so this year we talked about, new competitors entering the market with compute. We also, I think, saw some investment in nuclear and in energy. I think we're going to continue to see more of that next year. But I think we'll start this year to see what is that investment turning into. And so for me, what I'm really watching keenly next year is XAI. So Elon Musk kind of subsidiary of X, but now the AI company and the supercomputer that they built, where they broke the coherence bottleneck. And I think this is going to be really our first test fully on the scaling laws and if we're going to actually break the scaling laws or we're going to be constrained by the scaling laws or if we're going to actually have another major breakthrough in this space. And so this year I saw a ton of investment. I think Mark Zuckerberg talked about how he had bought like 600,000 GPUs from NVIDIA. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong on the exact number, but I mean, people were buying so much. I'm ready to see the return on this investment. And I think we're going to continue to see more investment in infrastructure this next year, but particularly in energy and in nuclear.